Welcome back, everybody. Keys and Gears. I'm Mark. This is Bess. Bess is a real estate professional in Texas, and I'm a lending professional in Texas. And we're here to kind of give you the nitty gritty of real estate.
Absolutely.
Do deep dives
Deep
into
dive.
subjects that most people don't talk about, right?
Especially one that's not trending right now.
Yes.
Short sale.
Oh my gosh.
Short sale.
What is that,
What is that? I'm a
Bess?
dinosaur. What is short sale? Well, since that has all to do with lenders, I think I will be maybe asking the questions and like serve it up.
Sure.
Tag, you're it. Go. What is a short sale? There's my serve up.
Okay, short sale is something. If you're a current homeowner and you are in a position where your house is worth less than your mortgage balance,
All right.
the balance that you owe on the property is more than what the home is currently worth. It's kind of like cars. You may end up driving off the lot and the car is worth less than what you pay it for. So it happens sometimes. It usually happens, in where the location is maybe a little iffy. It may happen if you put less money down in the beginning when you purchased a home.
Mm.
So anybody buying a house with 3% down, or veterans that are buying a house with no money down,
0%. Yeah.
you
VA loan.
you could end up in a bad position as a homeowner. And the short sale process really starts because you can't make your payments, right? And you then contact your lender and say, I can't make my payments. What are my options? And one of which may be a short sale. And
Why would a lender, if I may
Yeah,
ask,
go.
why would a lender consider a short sale? Because it's going to be short of what's actually owed. Why would a
Correct.
lender agree to
And
that?
most of the time, most lenders, not all, but most lenders will make you pay the difference. And sometimes that's a separate loan after you get out of your house. You will still owe that money to the lender. So you don't get a free pass. You don't get to say, "Oh,
Gosh darn
I'm
it.
just sorry, I'm going to walk away from this house," and lender, you're stuck holding the bag. Lenders are not in the business of losing money. I hate to tell you, but banks don't want to lose money.
You're not a charity.
No, they don't operate like a charity. So let's say the difference between what the mortgage payoff is and the home is, there's a $20,000 short, meaning that you will owe that $20,000, and you will come to terms with that with the lender, saying you're going to repay it in a year, 3 months, 2 years, whatever the deal is that you negotiate with them. So short sales are, if you're in that position, the sooner you act, the better, because it's also a long process. It's not a quick turnaround. You also have to find a buyer that's willing to wait, because
As you work through that process.
that process can take 60 days for you to really get approved for a short sale. So it's not a simple process, but you definitely need a real estate professionals, because you're going to need to come up with a market analysis of what the home's truly worth. You as a homeowner have to prove that you're in dire straits. You have to prove to the lender that you're not able to pay on any level. Okay, you can't make your monthly payments. You can't make up the difference. So a lot of people try the short sale because they think it's a free get out of jail
Escape
card.
clause, if you will.
But it's really not. My suggestion is, even before you get to a short sale, is get your house on the market and sell it.
Because was it the most recent stat that you and I saw was that 87% of people have, was it 50% or more equity in their house?
Right.
So if they do get stuck,
It shouldn't be happening to you, but if it is happening to you, the sooner you start that process, the better. Get it on the market, call your lender and say, I need to get out of here. I don't have the money. Here's my, you have to write a letter to them saying, this is why I can't make payments, why I can't continue owning the house. And sometimes that's a medical reason, job loss. It could be all kinds of reasons that are valid reasons, right? Life is hard.
life is hard.
And sometimes you get into a pickle. I had a business partner who had to do that. He got himself into financial dire straits, and he couldn't afford his home, and he went through short sale process and got out of it. But it was a very tough thing to do. But it's better than foreclosure.
Oh, that's an interesting PS.
Yes. So
Still
short
better.
sale is your preferred way. Foreclosure is your next preferred way. Now, if you really want to, uh, if you really want to get out of mortgages, a lot of times people will just file for bankruptcy, just straight out bankruptcy. It stays on your record for 7 years. So forget about doing
7
much
years.
with your credit in 7 years, because of bankruptcy will lower 300 points is kind of normal. What I see, even on a foreclosure, you'll get lowered by that amount. So if you add that 700 credit score, now it's a 400 credit score. So you're not going to be buying much on credit, if anything. So before you get to those levels, if you're in a position where your house is worth less than you owe, figure out a way to sell the house, because it's probably bad news in general. I mean, if you're in Texas and your house is worth less than what you owe on it, there's probably something wrong with your neighborhood, right?
Or you didn't put much money down when you bought it in 2020.
Right.
Something like that.
It could be. But again, it shouldn't be happening, because, historically we have a 3.5-4% appreciation rate.
Right.
So there's something wrong with your neighborhood if you're in this position, So the longer you wait, the worse it gets.
True.
So don't procrastinate about all of this. If you can't make your house payment, call your lender immediately. I lost my job. I can't make it my house payment. Because the longer you wait, the more house payments stack up, the worse it gets for you. So don't do that.
Don't delay.
Don't delay.
Great summary on short sales. It sounds like we should do a follow-up then, maybe next pod on foreclosure.
Yeah.
Since it's
Definitely. That's
the
a
alternative.
whole nother process. Yeah.
And foreclosures are much more common, like you said. Not that
Yes.
we are in a foreclosure market, but you are more likely to come across one of those. Talking about home affordability,
Yes.
all these things. But I digress.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yep.
Thanks for the primer on short sales. Sounds
one last sidebar on that. If you're looking at a house that's currently in a short sale to buy, my question to you would be, why are you buying this house? Why is it in the short sale when we're in a market that's appreciating? Again, my point would be, if you're buying a short sale house, you got to ask yourself what's going on here. It may be cheap, but it's cheap for a reason.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, fun fact, my first ever real estate transaction was in fact a short sale, and I represented the buyers.
Trial by fire. How long did it take?
Fortunately, it was a full fee professional, full-time real estate professional on the listing agent, and they had coached their sellers to do a lot of the homework.
Yeah.
So it was actually just a 45-day close because they had already.
That's about as fast as it goes. Yeah.
They had already gotten permission from the. They had done all the
pre-approval, so to speak. Yeah. Right.
From the lender.
Right.
And Tom, I just stepped right into that bear trap you gave me, which is, if you are a buyer, think twice before buying a short sale. So, Bess, what are you doing representing? Well,
that was a different time.
Fair enough. But this home was in very much an up and coming area. It's bordered on one side by multi-million-dollar homes, and bordered on the other side by nearly $1 million homes, and the sellers had all the things like you're talking about. One had lost a job. I believe cancer was involved.
Yeah.
It was just a series of unfortunate events,
and
they had overpaid for the house because this neighborhood, the word had kind of gotten out on the street that, here's this little neighborhood that's still affordable in between
the $1 million neighborhoods.
All this, right? And so they had jumped in, and then they'd just fallen a bit short.
Yeah.
And so the young family that bought it were thrilled because they were able to get it. And then when they sold it about 8 years later, they did pretty darn well.
Yep.
Pretty darn well.
Again, it's just, you got to have a professional at your side saying this is okay to buy, right?
Do the research.
Do the research. Understand
things.
what you're buying.
All right.
You can do that. You can't do that on your own. So understand what you're buying. What are we looking at on your
There
favorite
you
segment
go.
here?
We have no shortage of learning opportunities.
Oh my gosh.
So this is
It's a heater,
this is okay. This is a furnace.
air conditioning. Yep.
This is furnace.
Okay.
This is all the ductwork. Sad. Okay, yes, they're doing what you and I are always asking people to do. They're changing their
replace.
filters. Why they're leaving them as a fire hazard in the attic, I don't know. I do not know.
And it looks terrible.
And it looks it's just why? Anyway, but real quick on a side note. So what's the point of this? No, real quick about it. What is the point of this? Fantastic to see when you're looking for a house, a nice shiny furnace box. This
looks
furnace
pretty
is about
new.
a year old.
Yeah, it looks new.
About a year old. Ductwork, no. So
laying on the ground,
this
not
seller had
okay.
spent the money on getting a new furnace put in, did not spend the money on putting in new ductwork.
Yeah.
Those wires, by the way, are home
I was
handyman electric fixes
I
for
was gonna say that,
lights.
That looks bad.
That's scary too.
Yes.
But the ductwork is scary because they're making this furnace work really hard. I mean, think of ductwork as a straw, as like when you're drinking a straw, a Coke, right? You start slurping it with a straw. You don't want your HVAC system to be slurping through. Think about how hard it is when you slurp through a crushed straw.
Right.
It's really difficult.
Right.
Anyway, so two things. One, go ahead and spend a little extra money and get your ductwork replaced if your ductwork is as old as the box that you're having replaced.
Yeah.
All right. And you can see all this going on.
Yeah.
But here's the other part. So they saved money by not replacing their ductwork. They also saved money by, check out this blue box. What do you think that blue box is?
That is the old furnace.
You know, because of your real estate days. Yes, that is the original furnace that was put in when the house was built.
So it's just trash now that just left up in the attic.
Sitting,
Great.
all that excess weight is sitting on the foundation
yeah.
in the attic. And
Oh my gosh.
the seller was happy to tell me they'd saved $1,200 by not having it carried out of the house.
Yeah.
To me, the fire risk, the hassle, the unnecessary load on the foundation, all these things, I don't think it's worth the $1,200 in the long term.
Not to mention the optics of that for a buyer is like,
red flags,
cutting corners, and the electrical on top of that, you're cutting corners. It just tells me that anything that was done to this house is probably cut a lot of corners.
There's lots of questions. Yeah.
Oh
And when
my.
you're selling a house, you don't want to raise questions in a buyer's mind. You want to, there's more dollars in certainty.
Yes.
So you do whatever you can to.
It's like, I don't know
assure a
about you,
buyer.
but one of my checklist items for a seller used to be, is every light bulb working? As simple as that. Please.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. How
we're
often have
talking
you
about-
walked in a house and went like, I guess this circuit's
Yes.
broken?
Yes, it is.
I don't know.
That's a great segue to another pod. As we close out this
Yes.
one, thank you for joining us again. I'm Bess,
Mark,
and we're Keys and Gears. Love you, mean it.
thank you.